It's crazy that it's this weekend. It's crazy that this whole thing came together. I mean, one thing I will say, I believe Tyron wins the fight. I believe Tyron takes Jake Paul to a place where he's never been before. Where he's never been in his past, amateur level sports accomplishments.
Right.
Tyron Woodley's one of the best fighters in the world, multiple time world champion.
Have you had a chance to actually speak with Tyron? And if you have, how's he doing? How's training going? And how's he feeling?
I have. I mean, when you talk to Tyron, I mean, he's been doing this since he was, a less than 10 years old in the wrestling realm. And then I wrestled with him. You alluded to at Mizzou. He was like my big brother. He was a multiple time All-American. He was that guy that I aspired to be like as a walk-on on the University of Missouri wrestling team. So the guy's been competing, not just competing, but competing at a high level for half of his life and all of his adult life. And he's been under the biggest and brightest light. So for Tyron, the general sentiment I see and feel and hear is that this is just another fight. I will say with a fight of this magnitude, but also a fight where there's so much to lose. When he was defending his title against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, or even the current champion Kamaru Usman, there was a lot to lose because you're going to lose your title. But if you lose to Jake Paul, a guy who was a YouTuber, a guy who is not supposed to be fighting and competing against these high-level world-class combat sports athletes, there's a little bit more on the line. So I think Tyron is even more focused because there is even more to lose, even though there is so much upside with how high profile of a fight this is. I think Tyron going out there and beating Jake Paul after Jake Paul beats Ben Askren, there is some sort of payback gotcha, right? And then if Tyron does somehow lose, I guess there's only one guy that they can call, and that's the third Mizzou wrestler, the smallest of them all. I got to go in there and pick up.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Michael. Would you actually be interested down the line? Because that would be a fun fight. That would be a really fun to watch.
No, I mean, there's no doubt that just the hype that it comes with. I mean, I try to pull myself out of the combat sports kind of as the actual athlete and say, man, is what Jake Paul and Logan Paul are doing, is it bad for boxing? Is it bad for MMA? What is it? We're not quite sure what it is, aside from the fact that it just proves that in 2021, the world that we live in, if you build a big enough following, if you put yourself out there and you build a brand brick by boring brick, or sometimes not so boring at times, that really you can create things, you can create buzz. I mean, Conor McGregor is a great example. Conor McGregor came in as a phenomenal athlete, hasn't had the best performances as of late, but he is captivating. He has captivated the audience. He has captivated the world. When he fights, people tune in no matter what. So I think I would enjoy it if I did get called out on that, obviously. But right now I'm focused on my next fight, winning that fight, and then getting to that eventual title shot again, and winning the UFC lightweight title, and then sailing off into the sunset, a couple fights after, and enjoying my life and seeing what happens.